All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA regular season video. In this video, we're going to talk about the All Star reserves. We're going to talk about the All Star starters. We're going to talk about where All Star weekend is in Chicago, and we're going to talk about some other news at the end of the video. So if you want to stick around for that, you can. The majority of this video will be All Star stuff, though. So if you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So we did talk about the All-Star starters in my New York Liberty versus Las Vegas Aces Commissioner Cup preview. Oh, no, it wasn't the preview. It was the actual review of the game, the recap of the game. And since then, yesterday, they revealed the reserve players. The ones in orange are the reserves. The ones in blue are the starters. I want to talk about each of them a little bit and talk about maybe some snubs and talk about where the WNBA is hosting a lot of their events, because I think it's a little interesting how they're divvying up the time and all that stuff for the players and the people going to the actual All-Star weekend. I guess it is a weekend now, right? It used to just be an All-Star day. Like they did everything in one day, but I think it is a weekend now. So first off, let's talk about the starters like we briefly did, and I reacted to it live actually. So the All-Star starters, I have no problem with. I think each and every one of these ladies are deserving. Going from left to right and then all the way down till we get to the orange ones, we have Aaliyah Boston of the Indiana Fever. We have Paige Beckers of the Dallas Wings. We have Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever. We have Natasha Howard of the Minnesota Lynx. We have Olivia Miles of the Minnesota Lynx. You have Kelsey Mitchell of the Indiana Fever. Jessica Shepard of the Dallas Wings. Brianna Stewart of the New York Liberty. Gabby Williams, the lone All-Star for the Valkyries. I messed myself up there by looking down the list. And then Asia Wilson, the GOAT, is an All-Star once again. So as the WNBA does, people have a problem with the Indiana Fever having 3 All-Stars. And when I did my ballot for you guys, I didn't even think Kelsey Mitchell was an All-Star. I didn't even put her on my list because I didn't particularly care to make her an All-Star, let alone an All-Star starter. That's not the one I have a problem with. I have a problem with there being 3 of them, regardless of like what the 3 are. When I did my ballot, I did 2 of them. I did one of them, which you guys saw, and I did another one. Actually, I did 3. I did one that you guys saw. I did one of my favorites, and then another one of my favorites. And on the one that you guys got, I simply couldn't bring myself to put Aaliyah Boston in the All-Star game. I don't remember who I put in front of her, but Aaliyah Boston just wasn't there. And I felt like the Indiana Fever, for what they were, or what they are even now, they probably only deserve 1 All-Star, let's be honest. And the other thing about this that came tumbling afterwards was people that, before we knew the All-Star reserves, people were like, well, why isn't this person starting? Why isn't that person starting? And then obviously after the reserve gets announced, some people are like, why isn't this person in the All-Star game, period? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? To the people who are upset about the Indiana Fever having 3 All-Stars, even though I don't think by merit they should have 3 All-Stars. I think to have 3 All-Stars in any league, you need to be like a top 2, the best team in the league. The Indiana Fever aren't that. Not to say that All-Star should be predicated on winning, but you need to knock my socks off to get 3 All-Stars. You just need to. And the Indiana Fever haven't done that. And obviously, Caitlin Clark is going to be one. She has such big, a fan base, or just she brings in such a big crowd of fans. She's going to get in. And when we talk about it like that, the fan vote made up a good majority of the weight of the voting for these starters. The reserve players, I'm going to flip-flop between reserves and bench players. Pardon me if I flip-flop them. The reserves were voted on a little bit differently. I believe they're voted by the coaches and media, so there's that. But the starters get voted on by coaches, by media, fans, and players themselves. Yeah, players get a vote as well. To everybody upset about their favorite player not making it, guess what? Go out there and vote. Yeah, I said it. Go out there and vote. If you want your favorite player to be a starter, and they didn't get in, too bad. Too bad. Go vote. It's important to vote in life and in a meaningless, almost meaningless thing like the All Star game. When I tell you go out there and vote, go out there and vote. I don't care who you vote for, but just don't be upset if you voted only once and you're complaining about your favorite player not getting in. Too bad. Guess what? There are double days where your vote counts for two. You should keep an eye on those if you want your favorite player to get in. You should tell your mom to vote. You should tell your brother to vote. You should tell your sister to vote. You should tell everybody you know to vote if you really want your favorite player in that badly. Because I voted and all my favorite players are here, and I only voted 3 to 4 times. That's it. So it's not that hard. It's really not that hard to get your favorite player in. I'm going to tell you right now. Obviously it helps if they have a bigger fan base, but you look at somebody like Gabby Williams, who has the whole of San Francisco behind her, has fans from residual fan bases that want to see her in the All Star game. This is her first All Star game. It's not hard. It really isn't. Now, to these other teams, we're talking about the starters. We'll get to the other people at the bottom, but the Wings having 2 All Stars. Obviously, Paige Beckers deserves it, having a pretty steady sophomore season. Jess Shepard having a breakout season. I don't see a problem with that. Natasha Howard and Olivia Miles for um, the Minnesota Lynx. I don't have a problem with that either. And obviously, I don't have a problem with my favorite player in the WNBA, Asia Wilson, being in the starting role. Now, as we look forward to this game, just looking forward to it. They're doing it in a very weird way where they're having ex players, like legendary players, because it is the 30th season of the league, um, choose the roster, which is interesting. So it's not going to be East versus West. It's not going to be team captains for as in players as it was in past years. It's going to be former players or former players. I should actually, I believe it's. Let me pull it up real quick. Now I have it pulled up. That's right. So it's going to be Teresa Witherspoon and Cynthia Cooper making the teams, and then they're going to make the teams. They're not even going to coach the teams. They're going to get the two best coaches from each conference to coach the teams. This is all very convoluted and quite frankly stupid. I'm going to have to see how the rosters actually turn out. That being said, the combination of players we don't really know. But looking at the list of players here in front of me, I like all of them. I think all of them are going to make an entertaining All Star game, and that's really all that matters to me. I don't care about the politics of it. I don't care who likes who. I don't care if this person or that person had beef in the past and they're on the same team or they're on different teams and the other team wins. Obviously, I'm going to have a team that I'm going to root for in this All Star game, but I don't really I don't think this is gonna be a bad game. I think the combination of players we have here through the starters. I mean, how many guards do we have here? We have one, two, three, four starters, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 11 guards in this game. That's really good because the guards usually do a little bit better in All Star games than bigs because the bigs they're used to like really playing rough and the guards are usually a bit more flashy. So, um, I guess we should get to the bench. I do want to go through the numbers here because they did release the. Um, all right, sorry about that. I had to look for the numbers. I probably should have pulled it up before I started. I completely forgot they released the numbers. So for the starters, it's fan, media, and player ranking. Notably, though, some players did not get their ballot, so a lot of players didn't vote for their contemporaries or for their teammates or whatever. Some of these numbers are a little skewed. And the goal is there's a weighted score. The goal is to get the closest to one, I guess. And for the guards, we're going to go in order here. Um, it was Paige Beckers, Olivia Miles, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Ryan Howard. That's the top 5. Now let's go back a little bit. For the fan ranking, Paige Beckers got number 1. Olivia Miles, well, number one, the fan ranking. Olivia Miles got 5, Caitlin Clark got 2, Kelsey Mitchell got 3, and Ryan Howard got 9. It's interesting to see Kelsey Mitchell got 3. Somehow, I don't know if that's just the Indiana fans or the Indiana people voting really hard for her, but I, that one surprised me the most. And then we go down to Ryan Howard fan ranking 9. I mean, I can tell you why the fans don't like Ryan Howard, but that's a story for another day. It's nothing bad. She's just a little touchy. The media ranking though for that top 5, Paige Bueckers number 2, Olivia Miles number 1, Caitlin Clark 3, Kelsey Mitchell 7, and then Ryan Howard 4. So the media thinks like I think about Kelsey Mitchell, which is just like she's not terrible. She's not one of the greatest in the league though. She's just okay enough. The Caitlin Clark, Olivia Miles, Paige Bueckers, that's not surprising. The young guards showing out this season. Caitlin Clark being a little bit banged up, so her being down to 3 kind of makes sense. Olivia Miles having a standout rookie year, her being 1 makes a lot of sense. Paige Bueckers, again, having a really good sophomore year at 2 makes sense. And then Ryan Howard 4, so the media respects Ryan Howard a little bit more than the fans do. And then we go to player ranking, which is interesting to say the least, for that top 5. Paige Bueckers was number 1. Duh. I mean, may I say more? Like she's got a lot of connections. The players love her, man. UConn connections, some other connections. It makes sense. Olivia Miles, similar vein, and then you get to Caitlin Clark, 11. I'm not going to speculate on this because, like I said, a lot of the players didn't get their ballots, so they couldn't vote for whoever they wanted. But her being 11 is very telling of what other players think about Caitlin Clark, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't need to dive deep into that. You can interpret that as you may or look into it as you want to. Kelsey Mitchell being 7, I think that's sort of a residual of maybe a lingering factor that maybe players don't like Indiana, the team. Not so much the players on the team, but the team. And then Ryan Howard was number 2 in the player ranking, which surprised me, but a tall, lengthy wing guard, people respect that, and I kind of respect that as well. But the players obviously think Ryan Howard's really good. The players and the media think Ryan Howard's really good, and then the fans are like, nah. And then we move out of the top 5 here. I'm not going to go through each and every numbers like I did for the top 5, but for the rest of the guards, Alicia Gray at number 6 with a weighted score of 7, Kelsey Plum at 7 with a weighted score of 7.25, Sonia Citron at number 8 with a weighted score of 8.5, Marina Mabry, number 9 with a weighted score of 8.5, AZ Fudd, number 10 with a weighted score of 12.75, and Jackie Young at number 11 with the same score as AZ Fudd, 12.75. To look at some of these numbers, the players really don't think a lot of good things about AZ Fudd. She has the worst player ranking score of 28. So the players that did vote for the guards weren't impressed with AZ Fudd, and I'll say it right here because I haven't got the chance to say it all year. I haven't been impressed with AZ Fudd either, so there's that as well. The media, even though it feels like the media tries to shove that UConn, Paige Bueckers, AZ Fudd connection, over and over and over again in our face, they didn't rank her very highly either at 15. And then fan ranking 4, of course, the Fudd heads, Fudd around and find out. People like her, but it seems like players, media, they're kind of mixed on her. So that's interesting. Jackie Young got a fan vote of 14 and a player ranking of 14, which is also interesting. I'm not going to dig too deep into that because she's at 11 and everybody else in front of her is having a better season. Let's be quite honest. So I'm not going to judge that one too harshly. The fan ranking of Sonia Citron, 10. Media rank, 10. I feel like the love for the Washington Mystics, the team that Sonia Citron plays for, is more like internet based. Like there's a lot of like really diehard Mystics fans and love the vibe of the Mystics. The Mystics remind me of sort of like that young OKC team like 2020s, 2020, 2021 Oklahoma City Thunder team in the NBA where everybody liked them. They were fun. They were just the young up and coming team. They had some signature wins, and they built on that. And I feel like the Mystics are sort of heading in that direction as well. Um, Interestingly enough, Marina Mabrey getting some respect from the players finally. I mean, she's been kind of stuck in purgatory, but she's come into her own this season in Toronto with the tempo media rank number 6, player rank number 4. The fans, I guess, that's sort of the double-edged sword of playing in another country, technically in Toronto and in Canada. Is the fans they don't really get to see a lot of Marina Mabrey, so they don't really know how to vote for her. And then that's it for the guards. So yeah, like I said, top 5: Paige Beckers, Olivia Miles, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Ryan Howard with the best weighted scores. Now we will move into the front court here, and the front court consisting again the weighted score, fan rank, media rank, player rank. For a total score, you want to get the closest to 1. So A'ja Wilson at number 1 at 1.75, Breanna Stewart at number 2, 2.25, Jess Shepard at number 3, 3.5. I said Jess Shepard at 3.5, right? And then Aaliyah Boston number 4, 3.75, and then Gabby Williams number 5, 5.25. So that's your top 5 right there. A'ja Wilson being number 2 in fan ranking, number 2 in media ranking, number 1 in player ranking in the front court is no duh. She's just the best forward in the league, one of the best basketball players in the world, period, regardless of the league. And then you move on to Breanna Stewart, who obviously gets the media vote at 1 because for whatever reason, people still holding on to that version of Breanna Stewart that hasn't existed for at least 2 seasons now, where the media just relegates A'ja to number 2 and still thinks Stewie is really that player, even though the season in individually for both of their teams, Breanna maybe you could say has had a bit more of an impact because she's played more than A'ja, which is sort of weird to say because this time last year was sort of a different story. But um, Breanna Stewart gets so much media love, it's crazy. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it, but you would think the best player in the league would get a bit more media attention and praise, you know? Just saying. And I'm an Aces fan, so maybe I'm a little biased too. But the players respect A'ja at number 1. Breanna Stewart, fan ranking 3. A'ja Wilson 2, which makes sense. Um, like we said, we talked about the weighted score. And then Jess Shepard, number 4 in fan ranking, number 3 in media ranking, number 3 in player ranking. So a pretty fair spread all around for her. I mean, she's having a great season, and everybody's recognizing it, so that's great. Aaliyah Boston, number 1 in fan ranking for centers slash forwards. Amazing, I guess. I'm telling you, man, these Indiana fans go crazy. They voted for Aaliyah Boston number 1 in fan ranking. I voted for her twice. That's all I did was vote for her twice, so you can't blame me. Media ranking 5 and then player ranking 8. That's pretty fair all around. I mean, there are some things about Leah Boston, like people say she throws elbows and stuff. I don't really think she throws elbows. I think there are way worse culprits of dirty play than Aaliyah Boston. Let's be completely honest here. And then Gabby Williams, um, 5th in fan voting, which is interesting considering a lot of factors. Media ranking 7, and then player ranking 4. So all the way around, a pretty decent spread for Gabby Williams, um, ending the top 5 with a 5.25. Sorry if you can hear that in the background. Then we move on to outside the top 5. Like I said, we're not going to get into the numbers individually like we did for the top 5, but for the front court, Natasha Howard with a score of 5.75, Angel Reese with a score of 6. Just 6 all around. She got 3 6s in each of the categories, which is strange actually. That's actually I would say it's a pretty fair spread for these other players. That's accurate right across the board. Nneka Ogwumike at 8 with an 8.5. Kiki Arifin at number 10 with a score of 10.25, and then Dominique Malanga at number 10 with a score of 10.5. So that rounds out the other players. It's interesting to see how Dominique Malanga is rated, considering how much everybody, I won't say pretends to love her, but pretends to like really be behind her. But like, it's obviously haven't. voted for, and I get like there are other people deserving, but at some point you got to admit, like, personally, this is a personal thing. I would have voted for Dominique Malonga over Nneka Ogwumike. Just Nneka Ogwumike hasn't done anything for me this season. Like, she hasn't made me feel anything except for that one throwback game. Dominique Malonga feels like every time she's on the court, she's impactful, even if it's in a loss. I don't think All Star games should be dictated by wins and losses. I think it should just be the best players. And in my opinion, I feel like Dominique Malonga is better than has been having a better start to the season. And even when they've both missed some games or the teams have been bad, I feel like Dominique Malonga maybe should have gotten the nod over Nneka. Kiki Ariafin in front of Dominique, though, I can understand. Angel Reese, Natasha Howard. That's the only one I would flip here. Kiki at 12 in the media ranking, 11th in the player ranking. And then Nneka not getting the media love, even though she's in New York, at number 10. That's vaguely interesting. People are catching on what's going on in, in Los Angeles, and it's not great if you've been on the interwebs. It's just not great. And then Angel Reese. Do I want to talk about Angel Reese? I feel like if I don't talk about Angel Reese, people get mad at me. I've gotten some comments when I don't talk about Angel Reese. They're like, "Why'd you talk about her like this? Why are you talking about this player, not her?" I have Angel Reese fatigue sometimes. I'll be honest. To be fair to her and her teammates, those being Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard, and anybody on the Atlanta Dream, they were all very upset that they weren't named starters. That's the whole thing with them, their thing going on. And Angel Reese really parlayed for every one of them to be a starter. And they have a pretty decent record. I mean, where do they stand right now? They're standing at, well, they've fallen a little bit. They're 7-9, but last time I looked, they were really good. And they had a really good start to the season. Um, like I said, the same thing with Indiana. Like, except Indiana fans actually went out and voted. Um, um, you just can't win them all. Go out there and vote. If Atlanta Dream fans and Angel Reese and everybody in the Dream organization are upset about it, guess what? You should have gone. You should have gone and voted. I mean, you can look at it throughout the other numbers. The media ranks Angel Reese highly in the top 10. The player ranking ranks Angel Reese in the top 10. Um, Gray and Howard are both in the top 10 for fan media and player ranking. Um, it's just a matter of not sputtering. And I feel like I said this before. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the Atlanta Dream, but I feel like the Atlanta Dream is this team that like is almost there and is like pretending to be there, but isn't actually there, And these past couple weeks of basketball for them haven't been the greatest and haven't boosted any. I don't want to say boosted any morale. I feel like there's a lot of positive things for them to look at, but boosted any morale for them to um, get any favor or get any more favor than they have already had. I feel like the Atlanta Dream fan base is very vocal and very loud about what they want and what they expect from their team, what they expect from their players, and they obviously love their players, but it doesn't translate when it's time to actually do something. Doesn't translate, which is unfortunate. Um, as we've talked about all these numbers, and this was just for starting spots, by the way, we move into who actually made it in the orange. So we go into who made it. Starting in the middle, Sonia Citron, second time being an All Star. Alicia Gray makes it. Ryan Howard makes it. Kiki Ariafin makes it from the. I almost said the Atlanta Mystics. I mixed both their names. The Washington Mystics, Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard from the Atlanta Dream. Jonquel Jones joins Breanna Stewart as an All Star from the New York Liberty. Marina Mabrey makes her first All Star game. Yeah, makes her first All Star game in her first like real big role as a starter and as like a dependable scoring option with Toronto. And then Dominique Malonga makes it as a member of the Seattle Storm. Gee, I'm blanking on these team names. I'm so sorry. Nneka Ogwumike, number. Why am I saying her number? Nneka Ogwumike makes it for whatever number All Star game it is for her with the Los Angeles Sparks. Kelsey Plum makes it with the Los Angeles Sparks. She might be a scratch, though, and there might be an injury replacement. We'll talk about that later. Angel Reese makes it with the Atlanta Dream. Courtney Williams joins her other two teammates from the Minnesota Lynx, makes the All-Star game. And Jackie Young joins Asia Wilson, Las Vegas Aces guard. So we look at all these names in totality, and we look at all these players. Do I feel like all these players are deserving? I feel like for the first time in a long time, because I don't remember last year's team. I'd have to look at last year's team, but I feel like this team is this group of all stars is well balanced, and I dare I say they got it right. There are some people that are saying some other players are snubbed. I don't know about that. I feel like if I had to make my own all star like group like this, some of these players wouldn't make it, but that's just me being biased. Like I'm not even gonna say names. You know what? I'm not even gonna say names because this is a positive video. Congrats to all these players. Um, there are some players that other fans don't want to see here or should have thought were starters. I think this is the most accurate it's been in a little while here. And again, there's some like people mad that certain players didn't make it. I'm sorry. That's all. That's all. Moving on. I do want to talk about where the All Star uh, where the All Star stuff is going to happen. The events, the 3-point contest, the skills challenge is going to happen. So some of these events are going to happen. Well, they're going to do media day and like all that stuff, some other activations and everything as they're called in the industry, um, at the new Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. This includes media day and has a basketball court inside. So the WNBA will be the first team, what's the business to like do an event at the Obama Center, Presidential Center, which is I guess pretty cool. I mean, I like the vibe of this whole place. I haven't seen the actual like tour of it, but just the pictures I'm looking at, it looks pretty cool. So that's really nice. They will be doing the 3-point contest and the skills challenge at the Wintrust Center or the Wintrust Arena where the Chicago Sky actually play. That's a nice little arena to do those little events. I like that arena. I think it has good vibes. The fans there are very loud, so there's that. And then they will have the All Star game at the United Center where the Chicago Bulls play and where sometimes the Chicago Sky play. So there's that. That's all the stuff really that's confirmed and that I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, I feel like I had a lot more to say, but I really don't. So let's end this video and let's get into the snubs that some people um, think maybe should have gotten. What is this thing I just said? Okay, yeah, let's move past that. let's let's talk about All Star snubs. So first one that comes to mind. I'm looking at a list on Reddit, on WNBA Reddit. So we'll get through a couple of these. Veronica Burton. Oh, let's talk about snubs, and we'll talk about who could potentially replace Kelsey Plum, who's injured right now, might be injured come All Star game. So Veronica Burton, a Golden State Valkyries player, could replace her. I really liked what Veronica Burton did. Veronica Burton last season was an interesting player, enough for me to be like, oh, she probably deserves to be an All Star or something like that. But this year, it just the stuff she's been asked to do alongside Gabby Williams and continuing a good play alongside Gabby Williams is impressive. So I might give it to her. Brittany Sykes is injured too. I'm not sure she could be in the game. Chelsea Gray, I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Chelsea Gray's regular season, so I don't think she needs to be an All Star this season. Shakira Austin, maybe that would be 3 All Stars for the Washington Mystics though, and we've already dissected why teams shouldn't have 3 All Stars unless they're like the #1 team. So maybe not. Bridget Carlton from Portland, I could get behind that. Anise Morrow from Connecticut. I could get behind that one as well. Somebody said on social media like she's having an underrated season, and I went in to look at her numbers, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Camila Cardosa could possibly be the only Chicago player to make it. I don't even know when the last time a player from the city that the game is being hosted in didn't make it. That'd be an interesting thing to look at. But I think I would like Camila to be in it. Marina Johannes is here. Maybe I could see it if the Liberty were playing a little bit better. Maybe if yeah, maybe we'll see. Um, and then we have um, Alyssa Thomas, who I mean, the record speaks for itself. I don't think this team. What are they? They are where the hell are they? They are 8-14. Do I think they need? Let me be fair here. Let me be fair. Dominic Belanga's team 6-17. Uh, Camila Cardosa could be another option. 7-14. Let's be fair here. The Los Angeles Sparks 8-11. So let's be fair. But um, no, just because the display of basketball that I've seen from the Phoenix Mercury hasn't been great. They're good one game and then they're terrible in the next one. They're very wishy washy. We'll leave it at that. And then AZ Fudd. AZ fans are upset that she didn't get in. I mean, she's having like an average rookie year. Like, are we really gonna put average rookies in? Like, seriously? Like, I don't even think they haven't put the power poll out yet, but I don't think AZ Fudd is even like she probably is too, just because all the other rookies haven't really gotten a chance to play, and her and Evelyn Miles are the only rookies that are really playing. Um, her numbers are just I look at them and I go, they're okay. They're not all star worthy to me. It doesn't pop off the screen to me. I think all these players, in my mind at least, have had one or two signature games, and they've looked really good in those games. Maybe not Jackie. Jackie Young had one. I don't feel like AZ Fudd's had one. She's had like quarters. She's had like moments, but never like a whole game where she looked really good. And you could even, I mean, to be fair, you could say that about Caitlin Clark. You could say that about Jessica Shepard. You could say that about Ryan Howard. I mean, you could say that a bunch of players, but they already are in the ecosystem of being an all star. Once you break into being an all star, it's very easy to make you another one. Just like Sonia Citron has done, just like Kiki Arifin has done. It's very easy to make an all star. When you haven't done it before, when you're a rookie, it's very hard to make the All Star game. And would I be upset if she made it as a rookie, as the replacement for Kelsey Plum? Um, no, because the All Star reserve is usually selected by the commissioner. So, whatever Commissioner Kathy Engelbert wants to do, she wants to do. Um, and here at the end, this is where we stop talking about the All Star game and the All Star Weekend. Congrats to all these players. We will talk about the players participating in events. That's probably going to come later in the week or next week because the All Star Weekend is right around the corner. So we'll see you participating in 3-point contest, skills challenge, all that stuff. And we'll talk about that eventually. But I do want to talk about something because this is probably the only chance I'm going to get to talk about it, and I don't want to dedicate a whole video to it. The Kennedy Carter stuff, as an Aces fan. Kennedy Carter got waived yesterday in favor of Justina Prescott. Um, she the Aces offered Justine a contract, a developmental player contract that the Indiana Fever could have matched. She was formerly on the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever decided not to match it, so the Aces bidded on Justine's services, got her, and in lieu they had to waive somebody. And there's a bunch of people they could have waived. The internet's so funny because they're like, why is Kirsten Bell still on this team? She doesn't do anything. Guys, I agree with you. And there's other players, I guess, on the team. But also, Kennedy Carter, this is her fourth team that she's been waived or released from. She's had some sabbaticals from the WNBA before, and I feel as if this is it. As somebody else said on the internet, on social media, this team put their reputation on the line. The GM put their reputation on the line. The coach put their reputation on the line to bring you in because you were known as a head case. And I do feel for Kennedy Carter in a way because obviously something's not. I don't mean to be mean. I'm gonna say something. Something's wrong with her. Like something. She needs like a sports psychologist. She needs like a regular psychologist, um, and it, she just has issues. And I feel bad for her because I will say I wasn't the biggest fan of this move. Originally, we all knew this wasn't going to last. I just hoped it would have lasted maybe before the end of the regular season, but this is around the time when you do have to cut players, you do have to finalize your final roster with your developmental players, with your other players. The trade doors are open. You can make trades. We haven't seen a trade yet, but I didn't like the move to begin with. I thought it was just okay enough. But watching her, I understood it. I understood why the Aces needed her services, and um, I understood the stuff that she brought. And she was leading the league in true shooting, I believe. She was leading the league in a couple other statistical categories. And her fans will tell you she's being blackballed. She's a threat to this. She's a threat to that. And I say to those players, she's a threat to herself. If she could just get her head right for more than a season, she could be a really great basketball player and could have a really um, great back end of her career because the front has been nothing but turmoil. And I feel as if she, again, shot herself in the foot because this Aces team gave her a lot of praise in the beginning and they gave her a lot of things to be hopeful of. And then she started running her mouth. And the rumor going around is that it was a game in Chicago, I believe, or one of the other games on the East Coast where Jackie Young blew an assignment and then her and Kennedy Carter got into it and they started shouting at each other, and then that devolved into something else. And um, I don't know if that was the origin of it, but ever since that game, it's just been downhill. She's been in and out of the lineup. Um, it wasn't great, and I I don't think she did anything too harmful. I think, let me put it this way, I think she was the most well behaved she's been since her last couple stops. Where on the spectrum does that lead for a normal person? And Kennedy Carter well behaved? Like, where's the difference? I don't know. We don't know the full story. Um, I'm not going to sit here and say Kennedy Carter's crazy because I don't think she is. I just think she has this huge ego and she has this huge version of self like perspective of herself, I guess, where you're like, you think you're like, she thinks she's Michael Jordan when in reality she can be Michael Jordan, but that time has passed, at least for now. You need to work within a system and work within a organization in order to regain that trust, in order to have a GM and a coach believe in you to give you the ball and put the ball in your hands that way. Um, she hasn't managed to do that. She hasn't managed to be, um, as I like to say in a lot of my videos, she's never managed to be a good citizen. Um, she's a distraction, she's disruptive, and she messes with the whole vibe of the team. And I don't think the vibes are terrible. We're going to see what happens in these following weeks and games, and obviously after the All Star break, um, what the team looks like. Because the team, I mean, the team with Kennedy Carter, they're the best team in the league, 15-6, tied for the best record in the league. So we will see what happens with Kennedy. People are saying she should go to LA, she should go to Atlanta, she should go to Indiana. Guess what? Two of those teams already waived her in years past, so she's not going there. I think this is it. I said this before when I used to talk about Kennedy Carter before she was an ace. I said this is it, and I'm gonna say it again. This is it. What other stuff is there about Kennedy? I enjoyed watching her play, and I don't think I would ever thought I would have said that because she was on the other teams that I had to root against. But watching her play as an ace was fun. Um, Looking towards Justine Piscott, Piscott, I think it's Piscott, um, a rookie, a developmental player who hasn't played a single regular season game thus far. People are upset that like Kennedy Carter got waived for a play who has never played a WNBA game, like a real one. She played in preseason. Um, but what Justine brings is size, shooting, and that's really what the Aces need right now. And Kennedy Carter did bring a lot of positive things, but obviously the Aces felt, and even Becky Hammond, who hates waiving players. Becky Hammond absolutely hates waiving players. If you know anything about her history, she will keep a player on a roster and bench her, and then maybe wait for her to bring her back in, then waive somebody because it's just so infuriating, or not infuriating. It's so annoying to bring somebody in mid-season, um, without talking about it first and really dialing into it. But I feel like Justine's gonna have a really great second half of the season. I really hope she plays on that developmental contract. She can't play too much. I think she can only play like 12 to 15 games on that contract, or be activated, not even play, like just be activated. So I hope Justine plays, and I hope this opens up the door for a lot better lineups for the Aces, and maybe a little bit of more of a, I don't want to say a turnaround, because when you're the best team in the league, there can't be a turnaround. A bit more of positive movement in an upward direction. We'll put it that way. So, yeah, that's my little ramble at the end about the Kennedy Carter stuff, because I didn't want to make a full video about it. It wasn't worth it. But putting it here at the end of the All Star stuff is right where it should be. So, yeah, that's it. That's the video. If you want to check out my other WNBA stuff, there should be a playlist on the right. There's another video on the left. Maybe it will be the one where I select my All Stars. And if you click my little icon right in the middle of the screen, a little subscribe will pop up, and you can subscribe with ease. Like and comment as well, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.